Next game on our list, it is the Jacksonville Jaguars falling to the Philadelphia Eagles 29-20. My voice cracked on that one. Oof. The Eagles defeat the Jaguars 29-21. This game was a rainy, very wet, sloppy game, and it showed in the 4 turnovers that Trevor Lawrence had in this, or the 4 fumbles that Trevor Lawrence had, 5 total turnovers in this game. It was not a very clean game from the Jacksonville Jaguars at all, and you can't really use that excuse because it was really kind of it was a pretty clean game from the Philadelphia Eagles. There were some things, there were some moments, some fumbles from the Eagles, some moments, but other than that, the Eagles looked good in this game. And is this, are you buying into what the Eagles have done this season? Are you there yet with them?
You always do that. Like you make this statement about the Eagles look good, and then you ask me, am I buying into the Eagles? And you're going to make me play kind of both sides.
You do whatever you need to do.
No, it's not playing. I mean, they're not even really playing both sides, but I got to call you out first because the Eagles, they did not play a clean football game. They got a pick 6 early. Jalen Hurts did not play that well. They were able to run the football. Like that was great. Defensively,
they simplified it. They simplified the game.
But that doesn't mean they looked good. Like you can't. You're putting me in an awkward position because I don't think that Philadelphia looked absolutely great in this game. What they did was they had less turnovers than Jacksonville. Like that's really what the difference of the game is. For 5 turnovers, for the Eagles to really escape, like Jacksonville still had a chance late to come back in that game.
Is this just like the San Francisco game then, in the San Francisco Bears game in week 1, where it was like, okay, it was such a messy, sloppy game that there's not that many takeaways then from this game? Because really, if you do, I guess I was more in the sense of just watching this game as a Jaguars fan and watching my team lose. If you actually do think about it, the Eagles scored 20 points in the second quarter. That was the bulk of their game. They had 9 points in the fourth quarter, but really, other than that 20-point second quarter, it wasn't much. It was again the same thing the Eagles have done.
The disappointment comes from when the Jaguars jumped out to a 14-0 lead in a sloppy game. You have to be able to manage that. Like you have to understand, okay, we have a 14-point lead in a game that's probably going to get a little ugly, probably not going to be able to throw the ball very well. So, number one, Trevor Lawrence, I think this comes to, I think, number one, it comes to Trevor Lawrence's inexperience in the fact that he has to do a better job of understanding, I got to get rid of the football. I have to protect the football. We have a 14-point lead. I need to be able to protect the football and punt. Protect the football and punt. When you turn over the ball that many times, the momentum, the short fields, like that matters in a game like that. And that's what was managed poorly in this one for me, for Jacksonville. Yeah, Philadelphia did what they had to do. They were able to run the football, and good for them. And they are a good football team, but it wasn't overly impressive from Jalen Hurts. The receivers did what the receivers did. They were okay, but they were fortunate enough to have short fields, to be able to take advantage of those sudden change and score off the turnovers and situations that were in plus advantages for them. So yes, Philadelphia got the job done, but that's not what makes me think highly of Philadelphia. What makes me think highly of Philadelphia is because they continue to be successful on the ground, and their offense is an explosive offense. They're run, big shot, run, big shot. And I think that's a recipe for success when you have somebody with the mobility of a Jalen Hurts. So yes, I'm excited about Philly and what they're able to do, but this game did not really they're for real now. Like this game wasn't their best game either. So I thought this game showed a lot of inexperience from Jacksonville, which is expected. They're young. And Trevor Lawrence, and this was the first time he was really exposed this year in that matter. He's just got to protect the football better and understand that that's the most important thing in these games.
Yeah. And on the Jacksonville side of things, I am very, I'm not going to go into a rant or get upset and emotional about this, but I don't understand. And you brought it up. The Jaguars went up 14-0. I wasn't a big fan of the way the Jaguars offense called this game. The way this offense handled the game in terms of play calling, and I don't want to. I'm going to do this. You can yell at me all you want. In this game, the Jacksonville Jaguars and James Robinson had 40. James Robinson was on the field. His snap percentage was 47%. He was outsnapped by Travis Etienne. He only had 8 total touches in this game, and he was a big factor in your winning the game in the wins that they've had this season. I get it. He's not been the most like efficient back when it comes to like he's got a lot of big plays. He's got a lot of big plays that have really inflated his stats this season. But he's looked good doing it. He is your bell cow, 3 down, every down back. Travis Etienne is not it right now. And it just seemed like it was a very hard-headed play calling when it was rolling out Travis Etienne. I get it. He's explosive, and you want explosive plays in a game when you're matched up against another explosive offense. But James Robinson is your running back, is your RB1. Give him the ball. He touched the ball. I believe he touched the ball once in the first quarter. This is what it was. He was touched the ball once in the first quarter. And then after that, I didn't see touches until the third quarter, until late in the third quarter. And you're wondering where he is. And it's like, I don't get how this game plan shifted from what they did last week on offense to against the Chargers to what they did this week, where they're running more Travis Etienne and not James Robinson. Use Travis Etienne to spell J-Rob, not the other way around.
Well, 2 things there. This is what you get when you get Doug Peterson, so get used to it. Not that it's bad, but Doug Peterson wants to throw the football. Despite what you may feel, he is a throw-first guy. James Robinson has been fortunate enough to be a part of a couple of games where they've been ahead at times, and they've been able to get some carries. And the games have been really, really close, and it's been effective, and all that kind of stuff. So the game script actually is not surprising for me, because also remember week 1, he only had 11 carries against that Washington. He wants to throw the football. The disappointing thing is he's trying to throw the football in such poor conditions. The second thing is Jacksonville never had the ball. Like, they only had the ball for 20 minutes in this game. So a lot of times
I said that before this game. I said you're going to have, like, if you want to win this game, if you're Jacksonville, you're going to have to control the time of possession.
Expect that when you start as an offensive mind. When you start looking at a game like, man, our defense can't get off the field, or we keep turning the ball over and they got more possessions, you think in the mindset of, we have to push, we have to press and make things happen because we're not getting the ball enough. We don't have enough time of possession. And so you start seeing the dropbacks and the throwing and the throwing and the throwing. So I would say this is more of a one-off of a game call, like game plan for Doug Peterson. And maybe, he'll have to look at himself and adjust and fix that. But when you only have the ball for 20 minutes and only run 46 plays, it's not like Trevor Lawrence. It's not like Trevor Lawrence dropped back and threw the ball 40 times. Like, he only threw the ball 23 times. There just wasn't enough there offensively for them to get going. It was just one of those tough games in bad weather. I don't really look too much into it. It showed me one thing: Jacksonville is a much more competitive team this year. That's all it really proved to me.
That's what I'm like. Like, the Jaguars lost this game, turning it over 5 times in a slop fest game, and they only lost 29-21 to a team that a lot of people in the NFL around the NFL are claiming as one of the best teams in the league. In our power rankings, they're a top 10 team in the league, and they only lost 29-21 after turning the ball over 5 times. So positive, even though in a loss for the Jags, it's positives, and for the Eagles, it's still status quo. They're still a good team. My player of the game, it goes to the rushing attack. It goes to Miles Sanders here. 27 carries, 2 receptions, 156 total yards, and 2 touchdowns for Miles Sanders in this game. Last year, obviously, there was the chatter, of course, about how he wasn't getting in the end zone. Oh, man, this Eagles rushing thing doesn't have the rushing attack, the touchdowns for Miles Sanders were not there. In this game alone, he had more touchdowns than what he had last year. He looked good. The rushing attack looked good for the Eagles, and he is my player of the game. Miles Sanders, congratulations. The Eagles defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 29-21.